Hello and welcome to Front Row Vendors podcast. I am your host, Autumn. I have got like one of the most beautiful, drop dead, gorgeous venues, and Kara is is the owner of the venue, which is called the Barn of Chapel Hill at Wild Flora Farm. It's a long one, but they actually don't mind being called the Barn of Chapel Hill. And it's a venue it's gorgeously renovated barn for magical garden inspired gatherings, and it sits on 22 acres of land along with her floral design studio, which I is got to be drop dead gorgeous. I haven't seen it personally, but I've seen the pictures, and I bet you it doesn't even do it justice. So, how are
Well,
you
thank you
doing?
so much. I am very happy to be here. I'm glad that the holidays are over, kind of back on the usual schedule, which is nice. So thank you for having me.
Of course. So, tell me about you. Tell me about like your background.
Sure. My background is in marketing and public relations. I actually went to school for communications. I went to UNC and I worked for a nonprofit right out of school. And then I worked for actually UNC School of Pharmacy, did communications for them. And then when I left that job, I did basically some freelance work. I planned some weddings for some friends of mine, which got me interested in the whole wedding business. And several years ago, I was just looking for something to do that I could get my family involved with. Love growing flowers. So we decided to open a flower farm and wedding venue and sort of combine the two things. So we grow flowers, we design the flowers for the weddings that we have here, and it's a lot of fun.
And you said you did some weddings for your friends. Were those like one of the pivot points where you're like, this is definitely it? This is what I have to be doing?
Yes, I just really enjoyed it. I love weddings. Just now that I get to work with all these couples, it's just really fun for us seeing how everyone is in love and being able just to pull off these really amazing events tailored to the individuals. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
Oh, is there a certain part of the wedding that you love so much?
Yes, actually after, because we work with our couples for over a year, usually in most cases. And so there's this moment when all the guests are seated at the ceremony site, and then the bride comes down from the bridal suite area, and it's just basically us, the staff and the planners in the room waiting for her to walk down the aisle. And it's just sweet. Usually she's there with whoever's walking her down, and it's just a really nice, fun moment where the bride takes a deep breath and then she goes down the aisle and they get married, and it's really lovely.
Oh, well, how long has the Barn of Chapel Hill been open?
Yeah, so we opened officially in May of 2017.
Wow, so you're
So
pretty new.
we're pretty new. Yeah, we're pretty new. And each year I feel we just, things get better and better. We learn more. We work out the things that we need to work out. And it's just been a really fantastic experience.
Oh, good. How was your 2019? How was that? Was it
2020,
busy?
we're in 2020 already.
I know.
Um, 2019 was fantastic. We had so many amazing weddings. It was great. I love it. And I love this time of year too, because now it's a little bit, it's quiet now. We don't have quite as many weddings in January and February. It really starts to pick up for us in March and April. So this is sort of our time of year when I'm able to get out. I start planting things and start preparing for spring, and really start thinking about what we're going to start doing for our upcoming weddings, which is nice.
Wow. So, I mean, with the couples needing to book, of course, the venue first. How many weddings did you have last year? And what do you feel like is a good time frame for couples to want to go ahead and book you?
Sure. So we always recommend couples trying to book at least a year in advance. That's usually pretty standard. Sometimes we get couples who book us a year and a half, which is absolutely fine. And occasionally, even for sort of the quicker weddings, occasionally we will have availability. So it's always good to reach out no matter what. But I think specifically for a couple, if they have a very specific date in mind, it's good to try to reach out at least a year in advance, so that we have their particular date that they want available. That's important, I think.
Have you noticed this year a certain date that is very, very popular?
Oh, yes, there is a date and I don't have my calendar in front of me. I think it's, I was looking over towards Katie. I think it's, is it 10?
10, 2020.
Yeah. Yes, that's been very, very popular. We've been getting a lot of requests for that, and we are booked on that date. But yeah, that's been very popular.
Do you guys do any, besides weddings, do you guys do elopements?
Oh yes, we'll do whatever anyone wants to do. We'll tailor our packages if somebody does want to do an elopement, specifically if it's on, say, especially if it's during a weekday, like a Thursday,
Right.
um, Sunday, we have a little bit more availability. So yeah, we can do something like that, 100%.
Perfect. When a couple books with you guys, what is like the norm for what they get in a package with you?
Sure. So our packages, we have a couple of different packages. So basically, they decide the number of hours that they want to rent the farm for. So typically, that's 10 or 12 hours. And that's
Oh,
usually the standard hour. And then we give them the white folding chairs for the ceremony. So that's included. 150 are included with our package. We have 150 of the X-back Tuscan style chair. I don't know if you're familiar with that style of chair, but I'm crazy. I really enjoy a really pretty chair in a reception space. I think it really makes the photos look nice, and those crossback chairs particularly pretty in the barn. So we do have 150 of those that are per the package. We have 20 60-inch round tables that we also include as part of the package. We include chalk art on our main chalkboard in the main part of the barn, so that's included as well. And there's a few other little things included, but we try to include as much as possible so that our couples don't have to worry about renting tables and all these different things.
wow. So are you guys like a one-stop shop? And what I mean by that is like, do you, the couples, are they able to get ready there? And of course, the ceremony and then the reception?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
perfect.
One stop. I can do everything here.
Dang. Do you have one just for the bride, or do you have one for the bridegroom or bride?
Yeah, so right now you can kind of see it a little bit in the background. I'm in our bridal loft. We call it bridal suite. So the brides get ready up here, and then we've had it to where the grooms, we have a covered porch area, and the grooms have been getting ready out there, but we're building actually right now as we speak. You can see my construction guys outside. We're building a little space for the grooms. So
Woohoo.
yeah, so we'll have that up and running in just a few months, which would be nice.
Is there a nice like vision you can kind of see for the groom space?
Yes, I mean, I think we have a tendency, I like to keep things um, very simple and classic. But yeah, we'll have a lounge area for them and just a really nice space that they can get ready and take pictures in and that sort of thing. We have a tendency, I think, a lot of times to focus on the bride, which is definitely the correct tendency. But it's also nice to give
Right.
the a little something. Yeah, so it's
When couples book with you, do you see like a pattern of a either a personality trait or a certain vibe that they come along with?
Yeah, it's interesting. We get a lot of different couples with a lot of different personalities, but I would say the common thread for all of them is that obviously, they really like flowers and nature, and that's something that they come to us for because we can really. The barn itself is beautiful and the backdrop is beautiful, but the things that we can do with the floral design, we can really individualize per couple, and we can just do beautiful installations and beautiful personal flowers and things like that. So most of our couples are really into flowers and nature and wanting us to do something very specific for them, which they love, which we love, and then we're also able to just work closely with them because we've been working with them for a year. We really get to know their personality and the colors that they want and the things that they like and the types of flowers to use. So every event is unique because we're able to design it and tailor it through the flowers for them.
Wow. Well, since 2017, what would be your like most funnest or most creative wedding that you guys have done?
Oh, we do so many. It's so funny. This is going to sound so cliche, but really, every time we're setting up a wedding, because each one is so different and so unique, I always go, oh, this is my favorite wedding. And say maybe it's hot pink and whatever colors, bright colors everywhere. And I go, oh, this is fantastic. I love it. This is my favorite. And then we'll set up another wedding the next week, and it will be greenery and white. Oh, this is the most fabulous wedding ever. So honestly, it's that day. I'm just so excited and so happy for the couple that becomes my favorite wedding.
Well, that's perfect. Then that means that every wedding is perfect.
Right.
Um, do you offer any vendors with your property?
So we keep everything open for the couples. We do have a preferred vendor list that
Awesome.
they work off of, so we can make recommendations, based on what the couple needs or what they're looking for. But we do let people bring in their own catering, and their other vendors as well.
Oh man. Well, what do you feel would be something that is different from your venue from the other venues?
Sure. I think that for us, what really makes us stand out is the fact that we are a flower farm, and that we do all the floral design on site. I think that's something that's a little different. We're really, as I was saying earlier, very into the design aspect of things and really working closely with our couples and their planners to really make sure that the florals are just beautiful.
What would be your favorite flower of all
Oh,
time?
trying to pick a favorite child. I don't know. I really, really, I would say in the fall, I really like dahlias. I think they're beautiful. They come in so many different colors and shapes, and to me, that's just a really beautiful flower. I also love garden roses. I don't
Yes.
grow garden roses; they're really, really difficult just to grow. I have a few out here, which we do grow, but I don't grow them a large amount of them. But I do love the garden roses as well.
Man. So do you think that in 2020, is there a certain flower, maybe color trend that you're seeing?
It's so hard with colors and the trends. Of course, there's always the classic. So white and green is always popular. The
Right.
soft neutrals always popular. I would really like to see. We're seeing more and more sort of like this mustard color, which is actually
Yes.
really, really beautiful. And I would love to see more of that coming up for 2020. So we'll see how that pans out. But a lot of with the weddings, it's all very classic too. A lot of whites, a
Right.
lot of green, blush, that sort of thing. So, but
I'm
I'd love mustard. That would be fantastic.
right. I'm dying to see because the guys are starting to get more creative, and I would die to see like a velvet mustard jacket on a groom. I think that would be so beautiful.
I totally agree.
Man, when do you know of a time that you feel like you really truly went above and beyond for a couple?
Oh, that's a great question. We try to do that obviously with every single wedding, but sometimes things happen that are kind of out of your control, and so you have to step it up a notch. This is North Carolina. We do have hurricanes that blow through in the fall.
Right?
And we had one wedding in particular where we just didn't have electricity, and so we had to pull it together, grab some generators. We had everything, just we had candlelight everywhere, and I had guests tell me afterwards that they did not even realize that the power was out, just because everything just looked very natural and very beautiful, and just the soft glow of the candlelights. But yeah, and all the vendors that day were amazing. Everyone came together to really make it happen, so it was good.
Oh, I bet your photographer and videographer, if they had a videographer, was like floored because that kind of lighting is so romantic.
It was just beautiful, and the photos that came back were beautiful, and everything was just, yeah, it was great.
Oh, um, so do me a favor, give me like a really good, fun fact about you.
Oh, about me, a
Yeah.
fun fact about me. I don't know. That's a great question. A fun fact about me is that while I love working with the brides and I love working on the venue side of things, I really, really love just to be outside working in the dirt. I like growing different things. I like experimenting with the different types of flowers. To me, that's fun. That's how I get rid of some of my stress. Like just a lot of times if people will just come up and they don't have an appointment, you'll find me like outside completely muddy in the dirt, just planting something or doing something. So that's what I love. That's my passion.
There's not a lot of girls that do that. So
I know.
kudos to you.
Yes, I enjoy it
You
very
don't
much.
mind getting your hands dirty. I love that. Do you guys have, I know some venues will actually have some open houses. Do you have any coming up that you want to like kind of plug in and maybe see if some couples are going to come your way and check it out even more?
That's so sweet. We do not have any specific open houses planned, but we do a lot of tours just one-on-one. So we just recommend that people reach out to us through social media or through our website, and we will definitely do a one-on-one tour with any couple that wants one.
Oh, is there a certain like a certain day, certain time that would be best to do one, like for lighting maybe purposes?
Yeah, I always encourage couples to come out if they can around the time that they think they're going to get married. So if it's going to be a 5 o'clock wedding, try to get here around 4:30, just so you can kind of see what the lighting looks like. And I mean, obviously now in the winter it's a little bit different if they're having a summer wedding, but they can still kind of get an idea of the overall lighting and what it's going to
That's a really good piece of advice. Man, that one's
look like.
good. Is there anything, well, besides maybe like open houses or stuff or like walkthroughs, is there anything new that's up and coming and besides the groom area that you're building? Anything new for the Barn of Chapel Hill?
Yes, we're always working on working on different things, and so we're actually getting ready to launch probably early next week an a la carte wedding flower wedding menu. So far we've only been full service. So we do the full service flowers here, and we also do a limited number of full service floral designs in other locations. But what we're getting ready to launch is an online method of ordering flowers where you just order whatever centerpieces you need, and you come pick them up the day of your wedding, and it's done and it's beautiful and it's in our signature style. And we're really trying to make it just super easy for people that don't want a full service florist, but who still want really pretty flowers for their wedding.
I have never heard of that. I love that.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're
How
excited.
how long has that
One week.
been in?
Oh, how long has it have we? Oh, we've been working on it now for a couple of months. You know, just getting all the photos, taken of everything, and getting the website set up. But yeah, things are just coming along and getting ready to launch the website. Like I said, probably early next week, maybe the middle of next week, and we're ready to go with that. So it's very exciting.
Wow. I mean, do they get to go on and like kind of pick the flowers that either probably are available for that season, right? And just kind of
Yeah,
put the okay.
absolutely. So what happens is they go to the website and they'll see, like say you need the bridesmaids flowers, right? Maybe you need 5 of them. So you'll click on that option, and then we give different color options as well. So you can get soft neutrals or bold and bright or jewel tones. And then so they click on the option, the color of the flowers that they want, and the number, and then they send that into us, and then we take care of them. So yeah,
Man, the technology is going good. That's
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. What would you feel like would be like a really good, solid piece of advice for a couple who's planning their wedding from your perspective?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for most couples, just to try to enjoy the process, don't get so caught up in all these different outside things. Just really focus on each other. Think about what it is that you want. And yeah, because it can get stressful, if you're trying to listen to what mom wants or what your sister wants you to do. Just really, as a couple, just really think about what's important to you, and then make that happen.
And then everybody else is just noise in the background.
Exactly. Make sure that you as a couple are happy and that you have those personal touches in your wedding that you want to make it meaningful to you, and everything else will fall into place.
Oh, love that. Is there so what's the best platform for couples to get a hold of you? Because I know, like you were saying, you got the whole ordering the flowers online. Is it still going to be like through barnofchapelhill.com, or is it a whole new website?
It is. It's all through barnofchapelhill.com. So that's the best way to reach us. And then we're also very active on Instagram. Handle is at Barn of Chapel Hill. And that's another great way to reach us. And you can always direct message us, and we answer pretty quickly. So
And I mean the introduction I truly meant. Like you guys have such one of the most beautiful venues in North Carolina, and I think you should take as such pride in that because you're and especially like the flowers that I've seen on your social media and on your website is you just got talent all over the all over the place.
oh, well, thank you. We really appreciate that. And I can't take all the credit for that. I have a really phenomenal team that works really hard day in, day out to make sure that everything is perfect around here. So it's
Well,
wonderful.
well, speaking of team, because you just made me think of a question, and how tell couples how important it is to hire like the right team for them.
Yes. And I tell this to couples all the time. I say, really, especially when you're thinking about your planner or your caterer, to really sit down with them and really talk with them and make sure that as individuals, you really gel. I think it's really important. The photographer too. These are people that are going to be around you on probably a day when you're going to be somewhat stressed out, right? So you just want to make sure that the people you're surrounded with are people that you feel comfortable with and that you get along with really well. And so you're not worrying about, oh, what is the photographer doing? What is the caterer doing? Like, so just really take your time with some of these vendors and meet with them and sit down with them and just talk with them and make sure that they're going to meet your requirements for your wedding.
Because the better your team is, the less alcohol you have to drink in order to suppress the stress. So,
Yes, yes, it's so
yeah.
true. I tell some, like I tell our couples too, that sometimes it's just the little things too that you don't think about. Like with the catering, we have a great preferred list of caterers, and everyone does really phenomenal food on our list. But then also you have to think about the service. It will affect your guests' experience if the tables aren't being cleared or the water isn't being refilled, and just it's little things like that that sometimes they don't think about. They just go in and they want to sit down and have a great meal, and that's important, but some of these other things are just as important.
Yeah, when you go to a restaurant, you kind of want to make sure if you're going to pay good money to go and sit down and have a night out, you want to be pampered a little bit. And that's exactly how they need to think about it with stuff like that. That's perfect.
And it doesn't matter how good the food is if you have a bad experience and you order a drink and it doesn't come out, or you're going to remember that and you're probably not going to go back to that restaurant. So just make sure that the vendors that you're working with are on top of their game.
That was good. That was real good. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. I've been looking forward to our talk because, like I said, your venue is gorgeous. You seem like such an amazing person just by looking on the website and just by your social media, and it even shows true now that I've gotten to talk to you. So, thank you so much for coming on here.
Oh, well, thank you. Like I said, thank you for having me. I was very excited to do this today and meet you, and I just appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do this.
Of course, everybody needs to hear of you guys. Well, thank you so very much.